Parapsychology Today, a program of investigation into the realms of the unknown. Suspend your mind for a moment and journey to a world beyond the five senses. Parapsychology Today is a program exploring ideas, theories, and concepts that have been around since ancient times. We'll journey to outer worlds and inner worlds. We'll look into such phenomena as past lives, UFOs, and hauntings. And we'll explore psychic ability as it relates to human potential. We do not intend to prove or persuade, but rather present theories and personal stories of ventures into the world of parapsychology. Whatever your beliefs, we hope this program will start you thinking about a reality beyond the five senses.
Hi folks, welcome to another edition of Parapsychology Today. I'm your host Pauline Nortness, and my guest today is Gina Polimeni. Did I say that right?
Polimeni.
Polimeni. I always have trouble with names. Anyway, Gina is great. She's a licensed professional counselor and very kind to help me with her name. And today our topic is body-mind connection. And I'd like to know your background first. Tell us about your training and how you got interested in body-mind connection.
So I went to school. I got my master's in 2019 from Lewis and Clark College. And after that, I kind of hit a dark night of the soul. And when I hit that dark night of the soul, I was really struggling with what I wanted to do with my life. And with that, I started to step more into my spiritual self. I felt like I had hit this barrier, and I knew that there was more, but I didn't know what that was, and I was really struggling, and so I started to turn to my spirituality a little bit more. And so I started praying more, I started doing more energy work, I started doing more meditation, and through that I got more mentors that started coming into my life. And with that I started to be introduced in different energetic or holistic modalities like Reiki, which helped a lot, which was very energetic, somatic breath work, which really helped. And then through that, I started to understand about the body and how the body reacts to situations, which then brought me to how our minds, how we're on autopilot a lot of the time, and our minds are actually controlling us for most of our lives. And how do we start to become in control of our thoughts and our mind, which connects us more to our body to work as one full unit rather than the body being separated from the body and the mind kind of being in control, the ego, essentially.
So what I understand is you got interested in this topic because you went through this problem yourself.
Yes, I did a lot of work. So through that practice, when I was finding all these holistic modalities, I started doing the work myself to heal different traumas and different wounds that I had been experiencing in my life.
And I did some research, and I understand that the hearts and the minds communicate with each other. So our heart and our mind communicates with each other. Could you explain that?
So it's more the energy. So when our bodies go through a trauma, it reacts first before the mind, right? So the body gets reactive before the mind. But as far as the heart is a magnetic part of our body. So the Heart Math Institute is a place that talks about heart coherence. And when you can get your mind in a place that connects to the heart, we can actually reach more of a state of groundedness and a state of presence. And so when we go through things in life that may be painful or hurt us, we think of it like an armor around the heart. So we build up this like wall around our heart. So we don't allow ourselves to feel, we don't allow ourselves to express. And whenever we feel pain or releasing that emotion, imagine that we're like breaking down this wall around our heart. And every time we're doing that, you're actually strengthening your heart, like the actual muscle of the heart, creating more magnetism. So there's a study that the Heart Math Institute does that says you can, the more in tune you get with your intuition, the more you can connect with your heart, you can actually feel things happening before they happen. That's what intuition is.
Really? Could you give an example? That's interesting.
So for example, it'd say, have you ever had a partner where or kids, I like to use kids as an example. So my mom has this intuition where sometimes she'll be like, something's wrong with your brother, right? And it's like she can sense it and she can feel it, and then all of a sudden she'll like get a phone call and like he had something happen, right? That's intuition, is when you feel something kind of in your body and you're like, something isn't right, something doesn't feel right, right? But it's not your mind. It's like it's a bodily reaction. And so when that's kind of what I'm talking about, the more connected you can get to your heart, the more you can actually feel. Or like when somebody, like let's say you're supposed to go to a party, and then all of a sudden you're like, you know, I really feel like I shouldn't go to that party. And then let's say there's a house fire at that party that night. Oh. That's being connected to your intuition. When there are things that you tell yourself you shouldn't do and then something unexplained happens. That's where your intuition comes. So the more connected you can get to the heart, the more strength you can bring and the more magnetic your heart becomes, the more intuitive you actually can become.
That's interesting, because I went to a shaman workshop, and I always thought I was intuitive, but it was a different kind of experience. I was supposed to connect with a partner, this woman and I did a thing together, and I went in my intuition. I said, "Oh, you've been under a lot of stress, and you need to have a trip to Hawaii." She told me she's been taking care of her brother. She's been under a tremendous amount of stress. She was going to Hawaii. I mean, that's
wow.
That's intuition, but
that's intuition.
It's different. How did that affect? Was that from my heart, or where'd that come from?
I mean, we're all connected to. We all have intuition.
We all do.
It's an energetic thing as well. If we all have a heart, we all have the capacity to strengthen that organ that gives us more intuition.
Wow. So maybe I was strengthening my heart, so I have.
Or in being present, because part of it is presencing too, like being present in your life where you're not in your mind.
Yeah, I wasn't in my mind then, because I wasn't, I was just trying to figure out what's going on with this poor old woman. This is interesting, the heart and the mind. So would you say that the mind has thoughts that might affect the heart, like we produce feelings and emotions, and this in turn will affect our health?
Yes. So
let's take anger and fear and anxiety. That affects our health, right?
Yes. So there's been research that says that certain emotion can affect certain organs of the body.
Okay.
Right? So I don't study a lot of that. I know that for me, some of that has been true. So anger can be directly associated to the heart, right? So people who have a lot of anger can have a lot of anxiety, or they can have heart problems. Like, they can have random heart attacks, random things like that that carry a lot of anger. Now, not every case is that way, but there has been research with that, as well as the liver. Anger also affects the liver, right? Worry affects the stomach.
Oh, okay. Worry affects the stomach.
Worry can affect the stomach, right? When you're worried or carry a lot of fear, a lot of times that can be tied to the stomach, which also has to do with anxiety, right? So where the mind comes in with this is that the mind is trying, our subconscious, the purpose of the subconscious is to want to fix things, right? So if you have a problem in your life, or if something's going wrong, you're going into stories. What do I need to fix? How do I fix this? Problem solve, problem solve, problem solve, right? You're telling yourself these stories, or you're reaffirming different beliefs that you've been taught when you were growing up from your families. And what happens is now you're living by these beliefs and these stories that then have a direct effect on the body, right? But it's also disconnecting you, because a lot of times when you can get into your body specifically, you find that the story isn't true that you're telling yourself.
Boy, it's wonder how we survive with all this, isn't it? If we could feel love and joy and gratitude and other positive feelings, how does this affect our health?
Well, I mean, I can talk more about my own experience and how it's impacted me and what I see from other people, but the more love I feel, the more I enjoy life. The more I enjoy connecting with other people. The less I worry about the fear or the future or worrying about the past. It keeps me very present, really enjoying walking down the street and seeing the leaves fall off the tree. Or just that feeling of connection of self and learning to appreciate my body, or learning to appreciate the life that I'm living and not constantly seeking the next thing to fulfill me. I just think the hard part with that is we don't see a lot of that in social media. We don't see a lot of that in the world. We're not seeing a lot of people sharing about beautiful, joyful things that are happening in the world. We're seeing all the problems, and we're seeing
You're
all
right.
the dysfunction and the separation. And so that's they call that a low frequency emotion, is when you're in fear or depressed or anger. And it's an easier emotion to access because we're used to it. So the other part of the brain is, if you are teaching the brain constantly, telling the brain a story, I'm not enough, I need more, I need more, I need more. It's like writing with your right hand. You're on autopilot. You don't even need to think about it. Just writing with your right hand. Now, if I were to say, I want you to write with your left hand perfectly, in cursive, I want you to use your left hand, it'd be a struggle.
Would be.
Right?
Yes, for me.
Same with our brain. The brain operates the exact same way. You can create neural pathways in your brain, but it takes a while and it's hard, because if you have been telling yourself for 40 plus years that you're bad, that you're not enough, that life sucks, that if you're repeating all of these things, when I say, I want you to go look in the mirror and tell yourself that you love yourself, and find 5 things that you're grateful for, that's going to be really uncomfortable. It's going to be like me asking you to write your name with your left hand perfectly, because your mind is like, I don't want to do that. It creates more fear as well.
A lot of things you said I've been reading about, like there's a man called Eckhart Tolle, and I've got his book, In the Now. You want to stay present. It's good to stay present. And what you said about looking in the mirror and saying, I love you, it's important to love yourself. It's very important. And also I've been reading that an attitude of gratitude is really important. When The Secret came out, I really resonated with it. And I think I learned a lot of things from that.
I think people have a difficult time because they think that they need to believe it when they first start saying it. So this is another thing that I think people struggle with, is that people say, well, I do love myself, but the energy they carry in their body does not represent what they're saying in their mind. However, if you continue to practice it, like a lot of people will be like, well, I've been doing gratitude for 5 days and it's not doing anything. And I'm like, yeah, but you've been telling yourself this story for 20 some years. It's going to take more than 5 days, but fake it till you make it, right? Like, you have to create these neural pathways.
Fake it till you make it, I like it.
But eventually it has to get a point where you really want to do it. It can't just be a checklist thing. You have to be like, I really want to focus on this and be intentional about what I'm doing.
Yeah, I'm working on trying to be grateful. In fact, I live in a beautiful neighborhood, so every time I do a walk a day, and every time I walk the neighborhood, I go, I'm so lucky to live in this really pretty neighborhood. And eventually, it will help me feel better. I mean, I do believe it, I really do, and I am grateful for the neighborhood.
I love that.
And I try to think of what I'm grateful for. Almost every day I try to think what I'm grateful for: my house, my neighborhood, my family, and I'm still working on it, though. We're all working on it, aren't we?
We're all work in progress.
We're all work in progress. If we could feel these positive feelings, it would really make us healthy, wouldn't it? Like if we did love ourselves, if we could feel joy every day, if we could have an attitude of gratitude, this would really help us be healthy.
Have you heard of the water experiment or the rice experiment?
I might have, but tell me about it.
I can't remember the doctor who did this. Dr. Moto? I can't remember his name. You'll have to look it up. It's the water crystallizing experience.
Yes. In fact, I've got crystal. This crystal water in here. Yes, right. They directed negative energy at this bottle of water, and then they directed positive energy. And then they froze the water. The positive energy, beautiful crystals. The negative energy, Dr. Emoto,
Yep.
yes. I've got his book. Yes, I love it. See, we like the same things.
And we're like 90% or 80 some or
Quite
90% water, like in our body. So if you think about, if you're constantly saying negative things to yourself, it's deteriorating your body.
It's
literally
great
deteriorating
example.
the inside of your body.
That's a great example.
And
there is crystal water in here. I have 2 bottles of crystal water.
There's also the rice experiment, which is interesting. You cook rice and you put it in 3 different containers and you keep it for a month, I think, or a couple months. And the rice does the same. If the one that you said the positive things about, it's like fresh rice.
Wow.
The one that you talk negative about, like it's disgusting. Like it's moldy and it's like stinky. And then the one you neglect isn't as bad as the negative self-talk, but it's still it still has some mold in it, and you don't want to eat it. So the rice also shows that, which probably has to do with the water. That's just more of like a tangible one, because you can see the different things.
See it, whereas you can't necessarily freeze your water.
So our minds, our belief systems, the way we think, directly impacts our body. We are not our brains are not separate from our body, and I think a lot of people think like you have your brain, and then you have your body. But the thing is, it's one unit. We're one unit.
Body-mind connection, yes. Is there anything physically we can do to bring positive thoughts into our minds? I mean, like rhythmic breathing, or... I watch this lady, she does chakra dancing. I love that.
Any kind of movement is always going to be good, like listening to music that you like, singing to music that you like, uplifting stuff.
Yes.
The other stuff is meditation. I think there's a misconception about meditation. I think people think that meditation is about turning the thoughts up in the mind. That is a product of long-term meditation. Meditation is about learning how to be with yourself and your thoughts in the present moment without having to do anything about it.
I didn't know that.
So meditation is about learning how to just sit and be still, and you're going to have thoughts when you first start meditating. That's just given. It's about, can I sit here and be with these thoughts without trying to change them or without having to get up and do something to get me out of it? It's learning how to be with self, and the more you can do that, the more your mind will start to quiet, or the more clarity you'll receive. Like, you start having more intention when you want to sit down, or maybe you start asking the mind. It starts to bring alive the fact that you are actually in control of your mind.
That's interesting. I never knew that about meditation. Like, it's hard for me to sit still, so I would listen to music. I listen to this meditative music, and that really helps me. So you can do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I didn't know that. You keep your thoughts, but you don't do any act on them.
It's not, that's the point of, like, when you start meditation, people get so frustrated because they're like, my mind just keeps running. I try to stop thinking. Well, it's the same thing of, if you're writing with your right hand your entire life and then you try to write with your left hand, it's not going to be perfect, right? It's the same thing with meditation. If you sit down and try to meditate, you're not just going to expect to have no thoughts. So it's about, how do I sit here and be okay with the thoughts that I'm having and learning to sit still.
Be okay with the thoughts.
It's also you're regulating your body at that point too, and teaching your body how to go from a go state to learn how to regulate into rest state.
Rest, yeah. But I still like listening to meditative music.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, about music, there's certain music I just love, and it does make me feel good. When I'm driving, sometimes I hear this stuff, and I hate it. I just go, oh, shit. You know, I don't like loud, noisy music. I like beautiful melodic.
Yeah.
But that's because I was a singer. I like anything that has a melody to it. And
me too. Rhythm. I like rhythm too.
Rhythm?
Or like those ones that
like
make you really feel like gospel music. I love gospel music.
Ella Fitzgerald is one of my favorite singers.
Oh,
she was great. She was wonderful.
Yeah.
And I like Frank Sinatra too, but there are other singers I just, you know, and other music. Well, but I allow people to like what they like. You know, it's not the same thing. I used to have a problem with that. I used to say, no, this is the good music, that's the bad music. But it's not. All music's good. It just depends on what you like, what you resonate with.
Exactly.
Is there anything physically we can do to bring positive thoughts into our minds? Like, is there anything physically we can do? Or did I ask
Well, I
you
think we
already?
talked about that. Dancing, movement, meditation, things like that, yeah.
Do you have an example to give us of the client you might have helped so we can understand the body-mind connection? Like a client that came in with a...
Yeah, I mean, I have an older woman that I've worked with who did a lot of work. She was carrying a lot of trauma from her childhood, and she was constantly go in her life, and she just had a big significant change within her life. But the biggest thing is she's learning how she just retired. She had all these big changes in her life. She just retired. She moved across the country. Like, she had these significant changes. And the work that we've done is now she's working on, how do I just learn to be still and not feel like I have to continue going? And when I ask her, she's like, well, it's uncomfortable, but she likes not being in the go state. There are periods of time when she really likes being more regulated.
Was she going a lot so she could forget her past?
Well, that was a trauma response. So she didn't have to deal with it, so she could forget it, but it was also trauma. That's what she was used to. Her body was used to constantly going, and she had a belief system that she was lazy or unproductive if she wasn't.
Oh, really?
If she wasn't doing something.
Lazy.
And so she had to teach herself that it was okay and create a new belief system that it's okay to not do anything.
Anything you'd like to add to this body-mind connection?
I don't think so. The only thing I'd say is, as humans, we all operate pretty much the same way, but we're all complex in our own individual ways. But once you understand the depths of yourself, you will start to learn how to understand the depths of other people, which can help us create more connection with each other.
That would be so nice, wouldn't it? Yeah, great. love
Yeah.
connection with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
We're all energy. We're all connected anyway, aren't
I
we?
know. We all, our
That's another
energy all
topic.
impacts another person. That's a whole other,
Yeah, that whole
other
story.
3 shows.
Well, thanks, Gina. I'm sure we could talk about a lot more, but thank you. I appreciate
Thank
that.
you
Thank
for
you
having
joining
me. I
today.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Thank you, folks, for watching another edition of Parapsychology Today. If you have any suggestions, or if you would like us to have a guest that you'd like to suggest, or if you'd like to be on the show, please let us know. We have our email on the credits, so please watch for that. Thank you so much. See you again soon. Bye.